So when you talk about you were living unconscious,
Mm,
and I happen to think that this is something that a lot of people do as they just kind of live and
yeah.
they get into this routine and they wake up, they go to work, they come home. It's just this is almost not that it's dull or bad or anything, but people have this that sense that you had of unfulfillment, not happy, just kind of living to almost just surviving. So what is living unconscious exactly? What does that mean?
Yeah, for me at least, it meant not questioning anything, just assuming the way things were the way things were supposed to be. And like I had a belief that you're not really supposed to like your job. Like that was kind of my belief. I mean, that was conditioned into me that like nobody really likes their job, or you're not supposed to. If you do like your job, that's a benefit. It's like an added benefit.
Hmm.
That kind of becomes your normalcy where it just makes sense. It's like, I don't want to go, but I have to. You're just living unconsciously. It's just you're not questioning, but why does everybody get in a car that they can't afford to drive to a place of employment that they don't like? Isn't that weird? Isn't that the weirdest thing ever? Like if you were an alien, you flew down here, wouldn't that blow your mind? Like I started thinking that way. And a lot of it for me, Scott, was Joe Rogan. I mean, Joe Rogan,
Oh,
yeah, I was laying in bed one night and I was watching an episode with him and his buddy Duncan Trussell, and they were having that conversation of why do so many people hate their jobs? Not from the aspect of we're rich and we're wealthy and we don't have to dislike anything we do, but like why was it set up that way where it just became okay to be miserable for 8 hours a day or 40 hours a week or 60 hours a week? Like, why doesn't anybody question that? And I
hmm.
remember hearing that and something shifted. And it was like, I can't look at things the same anymore. And that was a really big thing. So for me, living unconsciously is just kind of you just go from one thing to another thing to another thing. You don't take a lot of time to be introspective. You don't take a lot of time to think of what does this actually mean for me? You're not asking why. You're not saying, why do I do this? Why do I not do this? Why am I attracted to this? Why do I run from this? Just trying to dig beneath the initial layer, figure out what's below that, and then you realize there's a lot more layers than that usually.
Is there something that, let's say someone's listening right now and they're like, wow, like I feel the same way. Like I should, like, why don't I don't like what I do. And it doesn't have to, by the way, it doesn't have to just be your job. I know we're talking about jobs specific, but it could be anything that you're doing. It's like something's not right in your life. Are there some things that people can do to start kind of changing that unconscious behavior to the hyper conscious behavior or thought process? Are there any like tips that you can give someone? Hey, like if you were to start to do these three things, it could help change that mindset. And so to where you could start making different decisions.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I would say is start asking why. Before and after you do anything, ask yourself, why did I do that? Why didn't I?
Hmm.
That's a huge thing. The second thing, and it's going to sound so simple. You don't have to ask yourself, but think of it. How much are you learning on a daily basis? Learning is not just for knowledge. A lot of it is for perspective, because when you learn something or you have the opportunity to create an input that comes into your brain, one of three things can happen. One, I know this already, and I've been practicing this. Two, what is that? I have no idea what that even means. Boom, your awareness is now raised. Three, I have no intention or no interest in what I just learned. One of the things that I did that I didn't realize has helped me so much is I've learned every day for the last 6 years. Like every day, I have it on I have a habit tracker, and every single day I check that off. 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. It's not that you're becoming, yeah, you're becoming smarter and you're becoming more knowledgeable, but what you're doing is you're becoming more aware. And then
Mm.
when you become more aware, you become more aware of yourself. And then when you understand yourself, you understand everything at a deeper level. So those are two things. And I would say reflect. I think a lot of us assume that all the answers for us are either in the present or the future, when in reality, so many of the answers are buried in the past. They're buried in the traumas of our past. And you are the way you are today, not based on what you did yesterday. It's probably based on something that happened to you when you were younger. You just don't realize it yet. And we think the future is going to change that. But for many of us, our futures are very attached to our past. We just don't realize it. So when you start to reflect on your past, you might have things that jump up. You might say, oh, interesting. I grew up without money. How has that affected me? I mean, how is that shaping my decisions to this day? And then boom, new awareness, new opportunity.
And the same can be true about even like in the fitness. If you grew up in a family that ate fast food every night, or your parents were overweight, like that probably had some sort of impact on kind of how you saw yourself and how you should be living your life.
Yeah. Yeah. The inputs around us they're really, really, really affecting us way more than we realize.
I love that.